Hey, shalom everyone. This is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehuda Ben Shomer, and this is Revelations from my Sukkah 2018/5779. And it is the eve of Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles, and I'm sitting in my Sukkah, and I have my Kindle with a bunch of different Bible translations and books on it, and I have another Bible hard copy sitting in front of me, and my glasses and pens and my notebook, and I'm just ready to dig into the Word and study. And it just seems like the Lord just downloads things into my spirit and reveals things to me during the Feast of Tabernacles. Maybe perhaps it's a season of revelation, because it comes on the heels of the commemoration of the reading cycle of the Torah, which is the ultimate revelation from God. It's the season when our Messiah, Yeshua, was born, and he was the revelation of God made manifest. And, he enlightened us on the true meaning of the Torah and how to live it and apply it to our lives by walking it out before us in a perfect way. And it was in the desert during the 40 years in the wilderness that God revealed himself as a loving father and as a conquering king to Israel, and as protector and provider and sustainer. And many miracles were given during this time. And revelation of God's word, the Torah, was given during this 40-year wandering. So, I don't know, maybe this is why I do revelations from my Sukkah virtually every year. It just seems like, I don't know, I just feel closer to God, as if the veil between the physical world and the spiritual world is very thin during this time. And it stands to reason, because the counterfeit faith, the counterfeit religion of the world, Halloween is not too far behind. And that is when the pagans and the witches and warlocks say that the veil between the two worlds, the physical and the spiritual, is the thinnest. I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of some ramblings there. So to get to the point of the revelation from my Sukkah, the thing that I've been struck with on the eve of Sukkot 5779 is minimalism. As Rosh Hashanah, Yom Teruah, the Feast of Trumpets, came, and as Yom Kippur came and went, we see that the Feast of Trumpets has been given the designation in the Jewish Hebrew community as a new year, as a type of new year. And when things start anew, things start fresh, we start the Torah cycle reading over again. Kind of the same New Year's themes in the secular world, turning over a new leaf, starting over, cleaning the slate, starting fresh. So you get rid of a lot of the junk that you've collected over the past year. Physically, you get rid of things, clothes and knickknacks and just things that you don't need, or things that are broke that's been laying around and you just never fixed or did anything with. And you just get rid of all these things. Just things that you don't need anymore, that are useless, that are just in the way, weighing you down, cluttering things up. Whenever there's clutter, there's chaos, mental chaos, spiritual chaos, and it invites chaos because there's just no order. So you get rid of all your junk, you create order, and you become a minimalist. I think that's one of the goals of Sukkot, is minimalism, getting back to the basics and getting back to the bare necessities and the minimal requirements. You think of what a sukkah is. By traditional rabbinic standards, what is a sukkah? It is a three-sided structure with a roof. That's it. I mean, how bare necessity can you get when that is your shelter? 3 walls and a roof. I mean, that's it. That's about as bare and as minimal as you can get as far as a shelter is concerned. It speaks of minimalism. You don't use fancy materials or even sturdy materials to build a sukkah. You build from what you have, what is available, what's laying around, whether it be leafy boughs and sticks laying around, or whether it be tarp, or whether it's just minimal, bare, fragile things. It's the least you need to survive. It's the least you need to be considered being sheltered, being under a shelter. Minimalism. That's one of the revelations from the Sukkah that I'm getting so far this year. And minimalism has kind of been the theme over the past few years of my life. I've been finding myself, the older I get, realizing how much I don't need stuff, how much I don't desire stuff anymore, how much, it's like I'm having a hard time thinking of what I want for my birthday and Hanukkah. I mean, used to, I'd have a list, like a toilet paper roll type list that would just go on and on and on for days of all the things that I want. I've got everything that I want. I've got everything that I need. A wife, a daughter, a home, a vehicle, a job, ministry, family and friends. You know, I've got about all the Bible translations that I want, and things like that. So really the only thing that I want is, maybe once in a while a set of new clothes or books, books. Love books. But, I don't want the big fancy toys. I don't want the big fancy modern gadgets and things. I just want the bare necessities. That's all I need. The more stuff you have, the more stuff you have to be worried about, the more stuff you have to be concerned about. So minimalism, that's the first revelation from my Sukkah so far, is the bare necessities and minimalism. What you just simply need to live and survive and to be content. To be happy, to be content. That's all that you need. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. And I guess that translates to the physical body as well, because your physical body represents a Sukkah. It's fragile, it's temporal, it's easily hurt, damaged. You could easily be killed. You could easily get sick. We realize that just as the physical Sukkah is our temporal home for the next 8 days, that our bodies are our temporal homes for however long we live, whatever our lifetime is. And that we're going to get a new body, and we're going to get a new home, just like the Sukkah. We look through the roof of the leafy bough roof of our Sukkah and look up into the sky, and it reminds us of heaven, reminds us of the world to come, reminds us of our eternal home. And so our physical bodies, too. What's the bare minimum that you need for your physical body? The Apostle Paul said, if you have food and clothes, therewise be content. You just need clothes. And I'm at that age where I don't care what I wear. I don't want to look like a slob. I don't want to look like white trash or trailer trash or whatnot. But at the same time, I don't have to have clothes that have name brands on the labels. I don't have to wear the latest fads. Just give me what's classic and timeless and never goes out of style. Just give me jeans and a t-shirt. Just give me the bare necessities. That's all I need. That's all I want. I'm not out to impress anybody. I'm just out to be who God created me to be. And I don't need clothes necessarily to express who God has made me and to express who I am and who God has created me to be and called me to be. I don't necessarily need, stylistic clothes for that. So the bare minimum, I just need a change of clothes for a week to keep in my closet. And, that's good enough for me. The bare necessities of shelter, of clothing, and I guess we might as well throw in there the bare necessities of your body. What does your body need? You just need food. And in reality, we don't even need 3 meals a day. There's a lot of people in this world who are lucky to get 1 meal a day, and you can survive off of 1 meal. Now, I'm not advocating that everybody go on a 1-meal diet, but fasting is a good thing. It cleanses your body. It helps clear out your digestive system, and it just does wonders. So, it's traditional for Orthodox Jews to fast 2 times a week, usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I at least attempt to try to fast breakfast and lunch on those days. Just do a little bit of fasting, and then when God calls and I feel led by the Spirit, I'll fast an entire day now and again. Besides that of Yom Kippur, which is a 24-hour fast. But, what do you need? I mean, I know that the flesh and the body craves sweets and junk and fabricated and man-made foods, but really, you just need what God provided. Fruits and vegetables and grains. and kosher meats. I mean, that's it. Just simple, and the older I get and the more simplistic the food is, the more delicious it is, the more flavorful it is, the more I appreciate it, especially once I've, cleansed my palate of all the junk food. It's kind of hard to stay away from junk food around the holidays. I mean, it is the season of celebration, and yeah, it's okay to indulge during the holidays. But once we get into the new year and we get back to normal everyday life, just a simple kosher natural diet is all you need. It's the minimal requirements. It's the minimum. It's all that you need. And all that you need, the bare necessities, I'm finding as I get older, is enough. It's actually more than I want. I'm happy. I'm content. I don't want anything else. So Sukkot, to me, the revelation is minimalism and contentment with minimalism. So that's the first revelation from the Sukkah. The second is the past and the future. Thinking of the symbols of Sukkot and how they represent the past, the Sukkah itself, the holiday of Sukkot, is to remember the past, to remember the 40-day wandering of the children of Israel in the wilderness before they inherited and took over the promised land. It reminds us of the past. But yet there is another element to Sukkot. It's the lulav and the etrog, the bouquet of the four species that we wave in praise and worship to the Lord as a wave offering. And what does that represent? It represents the future. It represents the promised land that the children of Israel were about to inherit. It represents what they were looking forward to, what they were going into, the abundance of the minimal, natural, bare necessities of the promised land. It represents the future. It represents the gifts and the blessings that God is going to give us in the future, in the year to come. That's what the lulav and etrog represent. They didn't have, they lived off of manna, heavenly food, in the wilderness. They didn't have the abundance of milk and honey and of the fruits and vegetables and grains and flocks in the wilderness. They only had that when they came into the land. That's when the manna stopped, is when they came into the land of Israel and were able to sustain themselves off of what the land produced. And it's the blessings of inheritance, the blessings of the land, the blessings of the future, of what we get to look forward to. So that's the message of the lulav and the etrog. It represents the future of what is to come. And the Sukkah reminds us of the past. Never forget our grounding and our heritage and who we are and where we came from. And because, there is a danger. The Torah warns us that when we have overabundance, that we will be tempted to say within ourselves, look at what I was able to do. Look at the crops I was able to bring in. Look at all the things I've been able to build. Look how rich I've become. Me, myself, and I. The unholy trinity. Me, myself, and I. But God says, no, remember that I'm the one who gives you the wisdom and gives you the ability to be rich and abundant. I'm the one who gave you these gifts. If it wasn't me, you wouldn't even have a promised land. You wouldn't have a land flowing with milk and honey. So these blessings, these abundance of minimalism and the bare necessities that God gives us, come from Him. They don't come from us, not within our own power. God gives us the increase and the ability to produce and generate wealth. So it reminds us of where we came from in the humble beginnings, the fragile beginnings of the Sukkah, the wilderness, when we became a nation, when we came through the Red Sea and into the wilderness on the 40-year journey of the Promised Land. And the lulav and etrog represent the future blessing, the future abundance, the future inheritance. Not only, in this immediate life, when God moves us from one station to the next, but the world to come, when we inherit the new heaven and the new earth, the ultimate Promised Land, as it's, the new heaven and the new earth as it is referenced in the book of Revelation. So this is the first revelation from the Sukkah. Thanks so much for hearing my ramblings. Thanks so much for listening. Hope you've been blessed by what you've heard. Go out there and have a great day. Chag Sameach Sukkot. Have a happy Sukkot. Shalom and Shavua Tov. AbrahamsDescendants.com. Getting back to the first century in a 21st century way. Thanks for watching. Stay connected by subscribing to our other social media accounts and visiting our website at abrahamsdescendants.com.